wabarakatuh. Okay, today I'm going to try to give a brief explanation about the narrative research to you. Okay, and there are 4 points that we will discuss in this presentation. The first is the definition and purpose of the narrative research design. And the second is the characteristic of narrative research design. And the third is the type of narrative research. And the last is the narrative research process. Okay, and we'll come to the first point, definition and purpose of the narrative research design. Okay, as we know, narrative means narrate, to narrate. It means that in the narrative research design, it is contain the description of the lives of individuals or the collection of individual stories of their experience. So, in the narrative research design, we collect the story of the individual experience and then we write it in the research, in the sequence style. Okay, and then the purpose of the narrative research is narrative research has an attempt to increase understanding of central issues in the education field. So it will help the teacher to increase and to develop their professional in the process of teaching. Okay, and then we come to the next. There are some reasons why narrative research became popular in the educational field. The first, the increases emphasis on teacher reflection, and then the increases emphasis based on teacher knowledge, and then the increases emphasis on empowering teacher voice in the education research. And then we come to the next point, the characteristic of narrative research. Okay, there are 6 key characteristics that is must have in the narrative research. The first is the narrative research focus on the story or the experience of individuals. Then next, concert with the chronology of an individual experience. So it means that the experience that is told in the research. And then the focus of the construction of life stories based on the data collected through active interviews. Okay, and then next characteristic is use restoring. It means that when we have the story from the participant that we use in our research, and then we will rewrite the stories into the research. Okay, and then next is incorporates context and based on the story. So after we get the stories in the form of data, and then we will make the context and the place and the story have a correlation. Okay, and then reflects a collaborative approach that involves the researcher and the participant in the negotiation of the final text. Okay, next, types of narrative research. Okay, as you can see in the slide, there are so many types of narrative research. Okay, types of narrative research. 5 characteristics on which the type of narrative research is categorized. It means there are 5 categories of the narrative research. The first, we can set the category of narrative research depends on who the authors write the account. Okay, and then the scope of the narrative, and then who provides the story, and then the theoretical or the conceptual framework that has influenced the style. And then the last, reader or not, all of these elements from 5 categories of narrative design can be combined. Okay, it means it is possible for us to combine all of these categories in the narrative research design. For the example, who author the accounts. For example, if the author write the story about himself in the research, it means the author will be, the writer will be the author of the narrative presentation. And then the scope of the narrative, it means that how big the narrative research. Okay, if it is the entire life story of the individuals or a single episode. So when it is a single episode or of teacher experience, it means we can combine a teacher to write the stories and then a single episode story and then who provides the story. When teacher who provides the story to be put in the narrative research, it means the teacher experience that will be told in the narrative research. And then the theoretical and conceptual framework, for example. Feminist, we can see a feminist side if the teacher, then a woman. So we can combine all of the categories of narrative in one research. Okay, we come to the next point is the narrative research process, how the process of how we conduct the narrative research. As you can see in the slide, the first is identify the purpose and phenomenon of the study and select an individual in order to learn about the phenomenon. So we must select the source or the individual as the source to gather our data to make narrative research design. And then collect stories from the individual. After we get the individuals who want to tell stories to us, then we collect stories from her or he to